Good evening. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 6 of the Synaptic Circle. I am your host, Heidi Pop, and I love to synchronize synapses with fellow like minds. We are here to build community, share our insight, share our human experience, and I'm grateful you are all here. So before I introduce tonight's theme and topic, I do want to introduce my guests and thank them so very much for being here. Hi, Chasity. How are you?
Big energy. I'm good though. It was a very interesting and big energy type of day. My heart is racing. Not quite sure why, but I'm great though.
Yeah, well, we got you. And blessings, Master Jeff, my West Coast brother. How are you?
Super blessed and blessed.
Yay! Ooh, love that. Nice to see you again. And howdy to the chat. We see you there. Big shout out to Carol and Jane. Thank you so much for modding out there. And I see all of you all. So thank you very much for being here. So tonight's theme is addiction. And addiction is both the seen and the unseen. And I do think it is an incredibly important topic, especially among these like minds, because we're sharing about our experience of escaping the matrix system and deprogramming ourselves. But when we have these forms of addiction that can be under such a huge umbrella, from the someone in a gutter on a street with a needle to scrolling aimlessly for hours for dopamine hits to jonesing for fast food, there's tons of stuff there. But I really find it important for us to share our raw and authentic stories, no matter how dark they are, to build that community as well as heal. And if we can do this after those decades of what we have been through, then I think there's a chance, to share that we can all do that. So with that being said, let's just get this party started. Hello, everybody. Chasity, with that, what does addiction mean to you? What is that? What does that look like
before I get into that, I'm feeling compelled to share this really quick. So before we got started, you accidentally a water spill, right?
Okay. Everywhere.
And it reminded me immediately, okay, because what are we talking about here? I mean, addiction, generational curses, that's what we're here to do, right? And so what that brought to my mind was, I remember when I was younger and I would accidentally spill my cup of water, and the immediate reaction I'd get from my mom, bless her soul, it's programming, gosh, son of a bitch, And so, and the reason I share this is just because I look at your reaction and it reminds me so much of, I remember when I had a son and he would spill things, I remember my reaction was so different than my mom's, so I don't know. I just had to say that.
Don't worry, folks. I didn't yell. My daughter threw a blanket for me so graciously and didn't see my huge jug, which she also went and refilled for me. And it was like, oh, hitting live, and oh, but, you got to have a laugh. But yeah, the old me probably would have been like,
right. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I just felt, so what is addiction to me? That's such a big question.
Let's just hit it hard.
Right. So it's, I'm still unpacking a lot of this. I mean, every day I either hear something or something triggers me and reminds me of it's spirit. Spirit definitely keeps reminding me of things that I am to share. And I'm like, oh, hold on. One thing at a time. Okay. One thing at a time. So addiction, it's trying, for me, numbing what I felt, numbing the pain, numbing whatever I could do to make that feeling just go away, and going to not caring about, which is, I can't say that because you care about people, you just don't care about yourself. I care about people, but you just make the not so great decisions, right? It's doing whatever you got to do for that next Vicodin or that next Xanax or whatever the drug of choice is for you.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And Master Jeff, what does it look like for you?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. To me, it's actually quite simple, but it took me decades to get to this. The core of the root cause is this. There's no such thing as substance abuse. The true addiction And this is after decades of helping thousands of people when I was even not awake, quote unquote, like before my spiritual awakening, and helping thousands of people after my spiritual awakening. And before I get to it real quick, addictions are layered. So it could be anything. But I'm just going to go to I'm the core guy, straight to the,
Get to the roots.
not only the roots, the core of the root cause. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So one perception of addiction is this. There's no such thing as substance abuse. What one addicted to, it is the internal triggers out of the unresolved issues and traumas. So out of those, you created all this energetic vortex that continue to being fed by your consciousness, thoughts and emotions, patterns and programming and your own stuff. And it could be passed down and it could be from you, but you are the responsible party to heal that. I call it transformation. Healing is not even the point. In my teaching, healing is part of the process of transformation. So
I love that.
yeah. So I transform addicts in one session, but it took me decades just to get to the core of the root cause. So there's no substance abuse. What once addicted is that internal trigger of, I call it compromised areas. Now, what causes those compromised areas? That's where I'm an expert. I'm a master in getting to, okay, that's the assessment, because my background is mental health. I'm still using my mental health techniques. I have like 30 years in mental health. 20 years I work with insane criminals. So again, the addiction is energetic.
Gotcha.
It is a response out of the looping mechanism. What is relapse? It's a looping. You're looping. So when you process and respond with the old self and the old program, you looped. That's what relapse is. So you imagine if you're in this conscious level, and then when you loop in your this conscious level, so you re-looped, relapsed. It's like collapsed to the lower grid of energy consciousness.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the
Gotcha.
outside, the substance could change from whatever it is, from let's say sex to porn, and then I'm not doing anything pertaining to that, but then it changed to, let's say, working out. And then after that it turns to something else. It turns to seeking validation from others.
Yeah. So then there you say, so that's not the relapse. That's because I was going to ask the next, because I went back to like 1991 and it's like the 90s, then 3 decades of different, what I thought was relapsing, but yeah, it was a bounce. Well, there were some recurring things too, but, but with that, do you have maybe a summarized story of your journey, Chasity, of that you can share? Like an arc or something?
That's so funny, because I have these conversations and, Spirit always says you're to write a book. It's too much. It's too much for you to say you're to write a book. And it was actually funny because I'm like, I know we've already discussed this, but I just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And and then what do? I open up my phone and I see you are going to write a book, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you know Jackie Kinner's. I'm not in it. I'm just saying Jackie Kinner on Instagram. I was like, okay, that's kind of confirmation. So anyways, I don't know if I can summarize it, but I can tell you where it started.
That's probably the best. Yeah. Let's see where it started. Like what was that one? When did it hit you that there was a situation out of control, or that you were like, okay, I have this vice. I have this thing that I need. What did that look like?
So things kind of changed up in my house when I was around 16. There were some changes, and I wasn't feeling very protected, and I started running away. And I would run away to like friend's house, and my parents are, they'd call the cops, and the cops would come and get me. So then I start running with the older crowd that had their own apartments, and, the selling of the drugs. But before I'm jumping the gun, see, there's just so much. I would go back home. I would often go back home, and my parents had sent me to a psychiatrist, and that psychiatrist told me, the first thing he said to me was, "So you're pretty fucked up in the head, huh?" That's what he said to me. I was
At 16?
I was 16. I was 16. He proceeded to put me on Zoloft and Paxil and told me that I had a chemical imbalance and there was something wrong with me in my head. And completely avoiding like the issue at hand. The city that I lived in, people can be paid off, if that makes sense. Anyways, the issue, it's clear he was indoctrinated. It's clear he just wanted to push pills. I was 16. I started running with the older crowd, going to clubs and using X. And I was so angry. I always wanted to fight an X. I loved the way it made me feel. And that's where it all started. And just like, it was one thing after the next. It was, but nothing physically got me. I ventured off into so many, whenever I took Xanax, I'm like, oh man, I called this I don't give a beep. You don't care about anything. And it just numbs it out, forgets about it, whatever. That's what it is. So it just but the one thing that I'm battling to this very day, just had a flash right before we started, the opiates. I have never, I was incapable of getting off opiates up until here recently. I'm in the process of doing that. So I never was truly enslaved to the Xanax or all the stuff, just the opiates is what kind of got me.
Gotcha. And Jeff, when you got to this level of, assisting others, did you have those dark days? Like, did you were you in it so that you knew how to take care of it? And do you have anything of that you want to share?
Well, I was a functional alcoholic, a very high functional alcoholic since I was 11 years old. So I came to the United States as a dying wish of my mom from Indonesia. My mom was dying of ovarian cancer. Very traumatic incident. We'll talk about that in a different subject. So as she was dying, she asked me to come to the United States and make her proud. So part of me is that still little boy trying to make my mom proud. Now, so I got to the United States. I was already drinking heavy, and I was always angry, depressed, suicidal, all of that, but I was still high functioning. I was like that for almost 40 years. So when you're talking about dark, it's more like dark decades. So the wisdom that I got to this point, it is transmuted of decades of darkness.
Did you ever feel like you had to, it made you perform better?
Oh, absolutely. Because I was, my nickname was AMF, Angry Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, excuse me. Well, and then to drown all this aggression, I promoted clubs in Hollywood for 15 years.
Wait, what was that?
I promoted clubs.
Oh, so
Hollywood
for 15 years. Yeah. So, party, this and that. So, how do I get to this point? I was dying. All my body was shut down, liver done, and dying in the slow process in all aspects. And in healing myself, I'm a maximizer because my background is working with criminally insane, and I'm always the supervisor of the nursing staff, but I'm the one that's creating my own behavior program. So I'm a behaviorist at the core. So, and emotional and mental work is basically my strength. So in healing myself and applying, spiritual, mental, biohacking and all that, then this is where I'm at right now. And I'm still evolving, and my teachings still continue dynamically more and more. And that's why I say it's layers and layers and layers.
Yes.
We're just peeling back my very first layers.
Oh,
he's got some. His layers have been coming down for some time.
Those layers are juicy. Yes. I want to bring up what you said, Chasity, about chemical imbalance, because I'm going to share just a tiny bit of my journey just to show that we have this range of what we're talking about, and not to make it too much about. Mine started, I would like to say, when I left Pacific Northwest to go back to the Midwest as 11ish, and depression was kind of kicked in. So I was kind of susceptible to the moods, but it was really 91 with the body image stuff. So I started my food situations and, the body dysmorphic image. And, I had the biggest pom-pom skirt, and I started to look at myself differently. And instead of Corey Haim, the Lost Boys on my wall, it was like Cindy Crawford and the supermodels and all these expectations I would never live up to. And that started me on a crazy dark journey of about 12 years of bulimia. And thanks, Jill Ritchie, Kid Rock sister, taught me that one. And we danced at DePaul for the Blue Demons, and she's like, "Oh, just do that." I was like, "Oh, so she does it, I'll do it." But
yeah.
But also there was a big thing, the chemical imbalance part. So I'm already rocking my own system, and it was, I was sophomore in college, already fully into bulimia, and acne began. And I was a guinea pig for a pharma product called Accutane, which soon came out. I was the first waiver. So soon came out, number one things, depression and suicidal thoughts. So I rode that from 1993 till 2020, my first parasite client. I was chemical imbalance. I was chasing the dragon for that whole time because I couldn't fill my serotonin, my dope, nothing. So that led to a rape, which led to a sacrifice at Planned Parenthood when they made me wait 3 weeks. And then I later find out, they wanted the parts. And then I got lost in the clubs. And coke, ecstasy. I think my next so at that, I'll do super quick. Then it was that ended when I left Chicago and I moved to LA. I wound up actually, whatever. It's like, "You went to LA and you got better?" I'm like,
home is where you make it.
So, I started over, and I kind of left a lot of stressors that were in my hometown. And then, but then it came around again with this, making money and, going to Hollywood clubs and doing the thing with my gal pals and taking care of everybody. And then it died off. And with my biological dad, I got around like the good shit, fresh bricks of coke wrapped in leather right off the truck, and like the purest MDA you can get. And I'm like, well, it's the good stuff, so I'm good. My system's fine. But again, chasing. And it wasn't my first baby, because 2 months old, my baby was at home and I was at a wedding with biological dad doing it all. Pumping and dumping, thinking, but it's the good stuff, chasing the dragon again. It was my second son when he came around, is when that was my surrender. When I saw him crawling, and after I was sworn that there was nothing in the house, he had picked up a vial of cocaine. And I said, something's got to give. And I had PTSD, and all my chemical was just, and I surrendered. So that's my next question to you all. What was your surrender point of something's got to give? Did you have one? I did have another round of alcoholism right after that, but we'll talk about that later. But what was your surrender point? Did you have one? How's that, everybody?
Do you want to go? That was powerful. I'm trying to take deep breaths over here.
The fellas in the chat are like, what?
No, I'm just, that was beautiful. Thank you for that, Heidi.
Transparency.
That's right. That's what we got to do. And I know that was just so beautiful. It's making me emotional. I'm sorry.
Oh, what's the surrender? Oh, have a moment. Yes. Well, that's what this is to do. We had those emotions. We hit those emotional rounds of like, you reflect and you're like, what am I doing? I would have rounds of seeing a mirror, watching myself. I think the worst was Gene out in shelter in Chicago behind Derek Carter, a DJ, and projectile vomiting all over. I didn't know I was doing G. I just chugged someone's water bottle. Yeah. That's what you do in a club. You drink someone's random water bottle. And I'm like, oh, this tastes like sweat. And what they took capfuls of, I took 2 gulps. and I imploded. And that was a night that I went out by myself.
Did you
I
drink
wanted to
with
go
it?
out so bad. No, I didn't drink because it's too many calories.
Because that'll take you right out.
Oh, it's too many calories. Yeah, but I was put in the gutter and literally in the ditch outside, because I went out by myself that night, so none of my gals were with me. But someone, God's son, was in line and saw me, and she took me back. She remembers me from being there, and she took me to her home and let me recover. But I remember going down and just picturing my mom and dad because I was the good girl, and I'm like,
Wow.
oh shit,
Yeah,
this is how I
same.
go. Yeah.
Same. I was
Yeah.
working in the clubs, and I took a drink, and I remember throwing up like blood, and then of course, my ex came and got me, and there was a guy there that was putting G in everybody's drink, and that's the date rape drug. I don't remember anything. I know that he told me that I was in the back of the truck and they had gotten that guy. And they just took a drive and had a talk and then dropped him back off later. But you know how to talk. They knew what he was doing. So
some just partied with it because it was like the meatheads would, because it made you, know. So but it was a sad night because I went out by myself, and that was when I was like, Jesus, anyway.
It's crazy.
So many surrenders, 3 different surrenders. Yeah.
See, it's crazy because there's all these, what you would think would be these catalysts, right? I mean, so many. I'll go ahead and bring it up today. This is big. This is big energy. I was gonna wait, but I'm gonna just talk about it. So, because it came up today, my son and I. My car. So my son was 6 years old, and my car caught fire while I was in it. And today, we were talking about it, and I've tried to have him talk about it before because my mind has compartmentalized what went on that day. So I don't truly know exactly, but what I do know, I remember running from the car with him. And so what he told me today, I was trying to encourage him to talk about it because I told him I want to have a podcast and have you on if you're comfortable with it. We can talk about the stuff that we've been through and that we're overcoming and that we're healing. And so we've tried to talk about it once before, and he's not ready. Today he let her rip. I was pulled over on the side of the road, and I was stuck. And I kept like hitting my gas, trying to get out, and like scared him, and he got out of the car. And fire shut out my pedals, and my car caught on fire. And my son told me today, these were the words out of his mouth. He said, I don't know, he was 6. He said, I don't know, it was so crazy, but I was walking to get, like, he opened up my door because I guess I went into shock. And I mean, I was obviously had went and picked up, some pills. It's just, anyways, he's like, he opened the door. I don't remember him doing that, but he did. He got me out, and all I remember is us running. And he said it was like he was untouchable. He was like, I remember getting out of the car and standing there and being scared and watching you. And then I saw fire, and he said, and something just got in me. And I went to your door and opened up your door, and I'm encouraging him to keep going. You know what I mean? This is a powerful moment. My mom's sitting there. He and I are going through this for the first time today. And that he literally got me out of the car, literally, like, and I remember running from my car, and he said today 3 times, we ran, you fell. And he's like, I got you up, we ran, you fell. We did one last time, you fell, and that was it. And you were out. And I had, I was all burned up, nothing on him, nothing. He's like an angel, nothing on him at all. And people are not going to like me after this, and I don't care.
Don't do that. No, we're not doing that, Chastity. Look at our buddy, Mr. Jim Goodall. We love you, Jim. Thank you. We are survivors, and the world needs more people like you. Well, that's the thing, Jim. I think there's so many more of us that they're that are. We don't hear each other's stories. And then especially today with this community becoming so transparent and the veil so thin, we have to see how strong we've become. That, we've got to have faith in one another because we've been through some shit. And we are pretty damn strong. So have faith in one another. So I please, Chastity, don't get down on that. What a story. That is your angel.
So that was the story that Spirit had brought up, because you saw the wrecked truck too. I mean, there's so many of them. And he's like, that pisses me off. I said, it should, Art. It should piss you off. But today, hearing him talk was like, he was so empowered. And all those years, I would just encourage him, let's just not talk about it, and we're all three sitting there, but pretty much just me and my son. My mom is just as much as she can be when she can be it. But I mean, it was very clear to me that we were breaking this curse. Because my grandmother was strung out on Valium and all that. And it's been going on and my soul wasn't strong enough. It wasn't at first. My son came here to help pull me up.
Yeah, he did. Jeff, for you, was it generational, the alcoholism? No. Is that an influence, just the influence you had here?
No, actually. I was kidnapped in traffic when I was 5 years old.
Oh God. I didn't know that.
I don't remember all the details, but it was so crazy. Like, make the long story short, I do a lot of exorcisms after I gained my natural power as a Kundalini master. And I was basically pulling out demons out of seers and mediums. And they're, and after I clear them out, so they're clear, and they said, something really bad happened when you were 5. And I'm like, that's where your rage came from. So that's why, like, I started drinking at 11. I just fell in love with it because it made me feel calm, not rageful. So anyhow, I didn't believe, because, I'm the healer's healers, if people don't know what I do. So even though these are like mediums and psychic, I'm like, look, no offense, I just pull out demons out of your butt. I'll whatever. But then I did 2 or 3 more exorcisms that week with different psychic and seers, and guess what? They all said the same thing. What? And then I prayed, I meditated, I have my own spiritual cleansing ground technique, and I'm like, please show me if there's something to that. The next morning, my brother from Indonesia tagged me. I grew up with maids, so I grew up rich, but I don't really remember. So he tagged me the next morning when I woke up, Jeff and the devil maids. And I'll call him, what was that, bro? He's like, oh, you don't remember? This witches kidnapped your butt. And when you were 5.
Oh, there you go.
So I am super grateful and blessed to be alive. They're able to find me and this and that. And then, but it kind of explained all my suicidal and all that. I was very sociopathic.
Oh, I get it.
I was very sociopathic. My since we're in the transparencies, this is before I get to the addiction stuff. I was addicted of torturing animals.
Oh.
My dad caught me, and he belt me bareback after he prayed, and he made me eat every creature that I killed.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So he said, never kill without a purpose. But that changed me. They changed me to start feeling empathy, this and that. But that empathy, that's the thing. Anything with trauma. And this is why I become like an expert. And as I started working with insane criminals, I was really good at it. The psychiatrist that was profiling me over there said, your part of your personality is like a serial killer. You're so good at dealing with these criminals. It's scary. And I'm like, yeah, but I still care about other people. So this is why in my teaching, you are what you feed. I'm the soul that chose the light.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to surrendering moments.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're dealing with a lot of stuff, even within yourself, we don't know whether someone's predisposed or not. In mental health, we call that predisposed or predisposition. I call it as just unresolved trauma or generational traumas. I mean, when I started drinking a lot, I just hooked on it. I was 11, so that's not normal.
No.
But I was so high functioning to the point, like, imagine I got to the United States in 1992. I didn't speak any English, but I was getting A's, and I was sipping on codeine and Vicks formula, sipping on the scissor.
Yeah.
I
I
recall.
was still getting A's. So
Wow.
but that's a hindrance, because it doesn't matter how fucked up I was still above most typical intelligence. But then but that's not good either. So I'm here. I'm not crying, but I'm crying in a way, because I've transformed quite a bit, but I could feel my old self crying, because when I hear your stories, Heidi, thank you for that, Chasity, thank you for your stories. I wish I have a few of stories, but I had countless.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Sounds like it. Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Like one of the thing was, it turns out I was not even addicted just to alcohol. I was addicted to just feeling suicidal.
Mm.
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 I was addicted to that. That's why I said, oh, this is it. Until to the point that God told me, like, you better stop doing this. So there's a mother that died in front of me with an unborn child. We hit them. So I almost died twice in the same location, in the same freeway, in the same exact location, 1 year apart. So God,
Gotcha.
to you, sorry,
Mm.
whatever that universe trying to get across to you, you will eventually get it. And sometimes there are casualties, and it was so sad. I could still see this lady screaming in pain, and she passed away with her unborn child. And it was for me to get the message that it's not time for me to wanting to die. And it takes that to grab my attention. And then I had to live with the guilt of, then I was addicted to guilt. So it's like one thing after another, because the guilt of unworthiness of being alive.
Yes.
Mm.
This was a big, I want to pause for a second, because you're bringing up some big ones. You brought up rage, guilt and shame. Those were my big ones. Raised with that guilt and shame,
Mhm.
rage, all these feelings. We're addicted to those. That's like all we know. And it's like, you could be chasing the dragon of the buzz of numbing out. You just got to
Yeah.
numb out escapism. But there's also that underbelly, the root of where's that rage and the guilt and the shame, and where's that coming from?
Right.
And yeah,
Right.
big to do. Big to do.
Yeah.
I hope, yeah.
So real quick
Mhm.
before
Yeah, please.
it's like, so people died in front of me, miracles happened in front of me, and I wish I could have said a different story, but I did not apply as I should. So the lesson gets harder and harder. And every time it's evolve or repeat, and every time you repeat relapse in whatever that relapse is, the lesson gets so much harder and harsher. And sometimes it will take, if you're not worthy of your life, you think that your life is like not worthy, the universe will show that, okay, you care about another life, and it will be gone. So you, just to get your attention, which is really like wowed, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chastity, was your family aware of your story? Like, was your mom aware of clubbing at a young age and popping pills?
So me and my mom, Dr. Hop together.
Oh,
Yeah. So
codependency.
right. So we went
Oh.
doctor shopping and doctor hopping together. As far as the
Mm.
working at clubs, I told her I was catering, that I was catering and just doing these events. And then I didn't have a bank. I had all this money in my, I had all this money in my room, and she'd come in and ask, "How'd you? Oh, I'm just catering, you know." She was so wrapped up in her own addiction and her new life at that time that, and I wasn't going to have it. Just the new comings of, we just had some changes in the house that I wasn't really caring for and that I was running from. And, you know, just a lot of addiction that was going on every single, yeah. I don't know if that answered the
Gotcha.
question or if I got
Sure,
it
sure, sure.
off,
Yeah.
but
Well, there's the guilt and shame on my end because I did a very good job of hiding things, and
yeah,
then that was part of my self abuse.
right.
I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person for doing these things, and
Mm.
but then not sharing it. Even the rape and
Mm.
the sacrifice of Planned Parenthood, I didn't tell a soul, and I took the L by myself back to my class, and
Mm.
I began to fail out of college, and I fell into drug. It was like you can see the patterns. It's like if only I reached out. I didn't want to reach out because the shame was too big. That's what
Yeah.
I was
Mm.
couldn't shift it in a way, I guess.
Right. Well, and that's just it.
Mhm.
I didn't really feel like I had anybody I could reach out to. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
and that's what's so beautiful about all this, because my son's perspective, you know, he's 20. So he's seeing things from a different light now. And he is having a lot more understanding and compassion. And that's why, you know, we are healing in the manner that we are. He's understanding I'm not a victim of shit. You know, what went on in my life made me strong. I ain't a victim of anything. It's funny because that's
Yeah.
survivors. Just like I say, somebody, you know, I'm a victim of the opioid. No, you're not. You're a survivor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, I'm happy you said that too with us, masquerading and hiding things. It doesn't help anything. So when you're able to share your stories, it just, I don't know, it brings out the human. It's part of the healing process to be able
right.
to say, um, this is what I did. This is how it happened. I want to give just a really hi, Sandra. I see you, Jim. Thank you for this beautiful chat. I see everyone sharing with everyone else their stories. And Jim, I know the food, the cigarettes, he kicked that a long time ago. And Sandra, she's generational situations. That brings me to probably to my next question, not just with family, but friends. The influences around you. Like, was it just was that a triggering thing? Did you just roll with the wrong crowd, or did it really come over you and take over your life that with even with no one around, you were still active in these kind of addictions? Did that make
Yeah.
sense?
So yeah,
The
I'll be
people
glad. I
around
just didn't want
you.
to be intrusive. I was still
Oh,
active by itself too. I mean,
mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
I would
That's
just,
when it yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. I
It
don't know.
was a feeling, right? It's like because you're literally having there's no one around to prove anything to, and you're still doing it. It was
Yeah,
another hit. It was a
yeah,
rush.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's you don't want to feel the things. You don't want to feel the things, and so you run. Or I mean, at one point, I was partying, going to a club, going to an after hours club, going to an after party. I never slept. I just wanted to keep numbing. I never wanted to heal. I just wanted to keep numbing and
Num,
numbing and
num,
numbing
num.
and numbing
Yep.
at 17,
Oh, yeah. Man,
18.
oh,
Pardon me.
yeah, yeah. No problem. What about you, Jeff? How was your like being 11 and like did you roll with it and then the being a promoter in Hollywood and things was just your scene, or was there this alter ego and this other life where you're like, okay, see, I'm a sane good person.
I was really self-medicating.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I drink alone at
Mhm.
night every night, and I drink at the bar alone almost every night. Um, I need 4 shots of espresso, but I always very functioning. I had a I had to be working in a very high volatile work. I was a supervisor, And then where I used to work, I mean, it's very, very volatile. If people's safety depends on you, So at the same time, it's just a lot. And then the stuff from work, it's a lot. So it's just the drinking is getting more and more and more and more and more. And so even though, let's say, the party scene, it actually helped in what you're trying to make, like rationalize, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not drinking alone. So to me, it's the opposite. When I feel more normal when I'm drinking and partying with other people, because I actually do it alone every day.
Mm.
It was,
So that
yeah,
made you feel, to be with others. It was like, oh, see, yeah,
I,
I get it. I get it.
I'm not that bad.
See, yeah, look at them. They're doing it too.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
And
it
then,
was bad.
yeah.
It was
Did
really
you
bad.
did you have the voice in there though? Just the devil angel thing? Were you ever haunted by that? Because that was debilitating.
So this is more of the one point of surrendering moment. I woke up after decades of feeling suicidal and even rage, and even I've been hearing voices, and then I can't really share that to a lot of people because I work with I work with mental illness criminals, right? I mean, I can't even tell people, like, not only I hear voices, I had thousands of demons in me. So I hear the voices and the need. It's like addicted to harming yourself and harming other people. It's an actual pull. I mean, it's when I'm trying to explain to people that if you don't, they'll never be addicted to anything. It's literally like a pull, like a strong pull. So I woke up one morning and I couldn't even see myself. I just saw thousands of demons. And I just cried until, I don't know, time was just non-existent at that time. And that's where I realized, I was taking, I had a lot of chronic pains at that time due to all the injuries of physical altercation, of work-related injuries, because of all the violent individuals we had to, deal with. So I was taking 16 to 17 medication every day, on top of the alcohol, on top of the opiates and all that. I used to have to sleep on the wedge, or else I would, cough until I throw up. This voice, it's a burnt vocal cords. But it's evolved to become pretty sexy now because of the
radio DJ.
Because of the healing I did. But yeah, it's interesting how much transformation you could actually go through. It's just it's quite a lot. So that's, to me, it was all very demonic, and I had to exercise all those thousands of demons eventually, one by one. And a lot of it was from the sexual traumas and porn addiction as I was a young boy. It was, looking back, it was so abnormal.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not talked often enough. We've had that going around our school community now, and why it's imperative we all limit screen times with kids. They have access to these things, and it changes something. It changes child development when they're exposed to things before they're ready.
100%. Yeah. I remember being young, and the music impacts us more than we really truly know. I mean, it's no coincidence that it's you know what? That brings me to this. I'm in the car today, and y'all remember that song. I don't remember the first words to it, but it's literally like this repetitive, and I don't even want to say the words, but I don't consent. And I listened to it and I said, I do not consent. I'm observing this, but over and over again, I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me? Over and over and over. And I'm like, wow. And because we're so programmed, it's just so interesting. Because did you like that song when you were growing up?
I was saying all the time. I think that was college.
I saw back live in downtown Pomona, and when he was nobody.
Yeah.
He was. I don't know if Bauer, if you're still in here, but this comes back to frequency and vibration, and we know what that, how that shifts us all. So we all seems like we all, you take your vices and you go where, the dance floor, you hit the clubs, and imagine what all that's happening to you. I remember being sober in Vegas. This is after a kid with the biological, because that's what he did. It didn't take me to the shows or anything. We just had to go to the clubs till 5, 6 in the morning. And I just remember being kind of sober at this moment and watching, and it was like a feeding frenzy. You could feel the demons, you could see the demons, and they were like sharks circling this
Wow.
dance floor. And it was
Wow.
frightening. And I remember being like, my God, how many hours have I spent in this kind of situation being feasted on, harvested on? And then the music would shift, and then everyone would get darker, and I'm in a sober state because it was smart to be there pregnant. And I was watching this going like, damn, I saw with my own eyes what the harvesting that took place. And then I had
That's so interesting.
It was interesting. I know it had a lot to do with the music. And then you add, whatever that is in the air, whatever's in your drinks, whatever's in the whatever vices you're doing, and the lights, and it's a harvest.
Yeah, I never had, when I was doing that thing, I had no awareness. So I didn't experience. Now I have experiences, and I see and feel. I feel, geez, everything.
Yeah.
But then I didn't have the awareness, but I can guarantee I was feasted off of, for sure.
Yeah, I could, because I've been into countless raves, and I was always sober because all I need is just music. So people go to rave, they don't have alcohol back in the day. We go to the middle of the desert, right? So I was the one that was just making sure the girls, because we go like 30, 40 deep, they have water, this and that, make sure the girls doesn't get taken advantage of, because they all wanted to be touched and caressed and all that stuff. And then, if that's them, selling nitrous balloon,
You would go to raves sober?
Yeah.
Really?
I go to them sober just to dance. Sometimes
just to dance,
the dance. Yeah.
Because I don't like the way of any other drugs. I never really like any other drugs. Like when I was hooked on painkillers, it was because I was in actual legit pain. So it was more like a biological, and now I'm a pain relief specialist. I could, I relieve pain within seconds or minutes. So.
I think this is a good time I want to keep tapping into these stories and uncovering these layers. But Jim, yes, speaking of music being weaponized, it's also incredibly healing. So it has gotten us through, like you said, nowadays in the last several years too, that's my go-to for releasing and healing. Picking the right music, of course, but oh, hell yeah. That's gets you through many dark times. I would know the right thing to play to get me out of something, but I remember being young and knowing the right thing to play to make me cry or feel something too. So music is huge.
Yeah, what's been happening lately is I'll hear go into a subway. I know it's just universe doing its thing, because it'll trigger, and that song will trigger a memory from before, and then it's like it'll heal another song. It's like different songs or different areas and different times that are triggering different things and different events in your life that you're like, holy shit, I forgot about that, and I feel like music is and can be healing, very healing. And I'll often play something like more than once and kind of get a little fixated on it, depending on my mood.
How did your healing journeys begin? Like, what did that look like? Was it just a cold turkey cut off saying, I can't, I'm done? And what was the process you used? I mean, let's just start talking about that stuff. We can keep dipping back, but let's talk about some healing. What about for you, Jeff? What about
for me? It has to be cold. To me, I was still promoting clubs, and I started doing healing. I was detoxing using crystal patches, but I was still drinking, and I was, I started developing spiritual abilities, and I thought I was going crazy. And then I said, okay, well, and I'm like, and then I always have this relationship with God, like he talks to me like a homie, right? And I'm like, hey, bro, like I talk to God. If this alcohol shit is no good and I need to cut it off, because I always drink I'm like hardcore like cognac or whiskey, straight up, just either neat or on the rocks. And I was just drinking either Irish car bombs, this and that. So this is a lot better, right? So it's just a lot of fucking enabling shit, right? But when I said I'm literally drinking just like Newcastle. I was at my friend's gig, and I was conversing with God. I was with my ex, and I was like, I'm gonna take a sip and show me, just like, show me, give me confirmation. I took a sip, and my vision was blurry for 20-30 minutes. So from then on, nothing.
Yeah. That was your big old sign of like, okay, I get it.
But it didn't need to be that way, because I was already dying. You know what I'm saying?
You.
So, but it's just like, this is why I'm really strict with my students. Like, you don't need to be stubborn or making all this really unnecessary repeated stuff, because sometimes you're not the only one that's paying for the consequences. Everything around you and everybody around you will pay the price for you to wake the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. Beautifully said. Yes. What about Chastity? When was it like?
So it was 2019. Well, okay, let me take that back. I went through chemotherapy, and so that gave me a legitimate reason to continue to take my Xanax, my Adderall, and my Ambien, and my Suboxone, because I was going through chemotherapy.
Oh.
So yeah, I was on all of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went through chemo, all this, yada. And that was actually the catalyst to my awakening as to what's going on in the medical industry. So that brought me down quite a few rabbit holes, but you would think all of these events that occurred in my life would have been the catalyst to me just being like, wake the F up, get up, wake up. What are you doing? But it literally was just kind of it just kind of happened a little bit slowly. And then it just kind of catapulted. I woke up one day and was like, you literally are taking pills to like, okay, you need energy. So you're taking it, and then you're taking a Xanax to calm it down. And then you're taking a pill to sleep. Like, and of all the years that I've done that, why would I never have thought that before? So it was something very spiritual. It was a walk-in, I know, to help assist to get through that, because I decided to cut it all cold turkey, and I couldn't get out of my bed for 2 months. Like, like that was not the smart thing to do. You don't do that. I went back to Suboxone because you just feel so awful. I mean, you just feel so awful. You'll do what it takes to just feel back to normal again, because that's, they gotcha. They gotcha. And so I stopped the Xanax, the Adderall, and the Ambien. And I started weaning down the Suboxone. It took me about a year. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where the healing journey began. About 2 years ago, started feeling compelled to meditate regularly, an hour. And that is when the walls of all the programming just started to crumble. And when I started to become heart-centered and brain and heart coherent, and just feeling like very responsible for my energy, and don't want to go out unless my energy is good and vibrant. And if it is, I'm staying in my room, like just, and so about 2019, I would say. And that's how that occurred. It was like not some, well, I guess the cancer, but I mean, so many events, it was something more spiritual that occurred. That was something a little bit more spiritual, I think. I know.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
And yeah. Well, and Jeff, Master Jeff, did you? Yeah. I wanted to see if you had something to share there before, because Jim Goodall's got something good there that might segue us both into the
thing. It's just for peeps that's not really familiar what I do. I customize protocols, whether it is vaccine injuries, whether it is addiction, whatever it is. I work from dying babies all the way to pro fighters, MMA fighters, Muay Thai legends, all of that. So there are some truths to, you don't want to, this is not to debate or anything what Chastity was saying.
Yeah.
There is some truth. It depends on the situation and everything else because I address spirit, mental, emotional, energetic, physical, biochemical. But you can abruptly stop certain things if you have the right tools.
Gotcha.
If you have the right tools, because I that's what basically for me, in order to maximize, you need to customize.
Hey, I like that.
And you never address the symptoms. I always address the system. So stop addressing symptoms, start addressing the system. So I address the whole thing. I mean, you tasted my sacred cacao and look what happened to you, right?
I know.
It's different.
Freaking fantastic.
It's different level of stuff, but you know, lots of
Yeah.
pain. The one thing that I need to get across: pain and suffering is a perception.
Ooh.
It's a perception. So once you fully healed and transformed, and you transmuted your perception of the perceived past tense pain and suffering, all are blessings. It is part of the alchemy of who you are at this moment.
Amen. I love that.
I do too.
I tell you, like when I was talking about the Accutane and being the guinea pig and the chemical imbalance and just never feeling my cup full of serotonin, everything was imbalanced. That was early 90s to 2020. I met Lexi Eisenhower and I did my first parasite cleanse. And honestly, my levels have been balanced. I continually purge and detox and cleanse, but I have no more intrusive thoughts. I have no more, I call it the pendulum that goes highs and lows. Those cleanses and detoxes are everything. I'm telling you, people. And then meeting the, eloping with the giant in 19 wasn't too shabby either. He doesn't even drink. So it's like vices just are non-existent in the house. Wait, what the hell am I saying? Junk food.
Yeah, no.
Sugar and junk food, but we recognize it. Now we enjoy and we put it away. There's no escaping and numbing. So, but I tell you, it started after the cleansing.
So
I need to get some. I keep telling myself I need to do a cleansing.
Yeah.
Those little buggies.
Yeah. So there's a cleanse and there's continuing detox. So I would actually start slow and steady. So I help thousands of people, but just actually detoxing every day, that is actually extremely, extremely important. It has to be every day. This is not, I mean, cleanses are cool, but then people get addicted on the idea of, I'm just doing cleanse every month, or that's enough, because complacency kills. That's my teaching. Can be complacent no more. We're not here to seek truth anymore. Truth is not to be seeked anymore. Truth is to be accepted. Truth is speaking to us all the time. So what I'm teaching people is to be a better acceptor of truth as is. Be the truth acceptor as is, despite of your ego and your pride, whatever you want to hear or see, right? So we don't seek out outside or validation from the wrong sources anymore. So that's detoxing in all. So that's part of it, detoxing in all aspects.
It takes some time though to get to where for me personally, and it took me, and everything I've been through, like it took me some time to be like, I don't give a what anybody freaking thinks. And that's the most liberating feeling, I don't know if I just got there. I just kind of got there maybe like a year ago. I'm in the beginning stages of my healing. I mean, there's still some things that I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, I forgot about that. There's actually, I'm going to share this. A girlfriend of mine that I met on social media, Dawn, she sent me a video about Zoloft and Paxil and how it was tied to suicide. And I had completely forgot about that experience with that psychiatrist who said what he said to me until she sent that to me. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot. I was on Zoloft and Paxil, and like, I don't know, 6 months, not a year, I tried to kill myself. And I completely forgot about that. And that what she sent me kind of triggered that and reminded me, healed it, transmuted it, whatever, bring it to the light, bring awareness to that. Because then now I hear some people that are on these antidepressants. I don't trust anything that comes from big pharma, nothing. Nothing. Not of it. None of it. Not one bit.
Yeah.
Not your antibiotic. None of your shit. So.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a very simple steps. So we talk about going back and forth. We talk about the raw shit and the transparency. How about solution?
You're going to get to solutions? Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that okay?
Absolutely. Then there's a couple dark, yes, because Jim Goodall, I want to share. I haven't been sharing his stories, but I see how your beautiful stories, Jim. Thank you so much for sharing all these. Jim has been very raw and sharing a lot of his experiences here. And I just wanted, I'm seeing you, Jim, and I really appreciate you. He also had a thing where he said he ended up in juvie at 13 after killing
We're bringing it
of
to the light. We're
bringing it all into the light.
We're bringing it to the light. We're dropping judgment. No more.
Yep. No more judgments.
No.
But I am all about those solutions. Yes, that's what we are here for. Yes.
100%.
Let's hit it. Let's do it. What's the solution you're thinking of, Mr. Jeff?
It's very simple. All you need is water, salt, and gratitude. Emotion, essence of gratitude. So what's most important is not the cup or the mug. What's important is the essence, the content of this mug. So gratitude is currency of God in my teaching. So if you want to actually have more God, whoever God is to you, doesn't matter. This is not about religion. So you need a signal of gratitude, but you got to get over yourself in order for you to feel true gratitude. So you set your mind to the side and you breathe. And I have very specific teaching on that, but I have my transmissions. If you just hold gratitude, we help thousands of people and it's free. It's complimentary. People get from relief of addiction, relief from pain, whatever, even pooping out worms the next day just with transmission. So that's literally if you just have gratitude, and that needs to be cultivated. It's a muscle. It's not in the head. It's not I'm grateful for this. No, it's actually the feel. Just go back to what was your emotional content dancing to that song? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Gotcha.
So gratitude and the transmissions is a list. So I have 3 videos and I'm just transmitting very different compounds, and it will detox you. It will clear you, it will cleanse. And we even help a lot of disaster relief from Ohio train derailment last year, Lahaina, and the second part of the detoxing, whatever you do, increase your level of endogenous glutathione. Okay, I have my own certain ways, but I have many ways. The simplest stuff is just eat 3 to 4 eggs of pasture-raised eggs. That's the simplest one. I have crystal patches that I like to use to maximize it. But with the glutathione, increased glutathione alone, it actually helped mental illness. Let me give you this actually real life experience. I did not know what glutathione was. This is when I was working at the state, when we're working with insane criminals. When state had a lot of money, they did there's this psychotropic called risperidol. Risperidol was a second-gen psychotropic that was actually very powerful in helping schizophrenia, except if you're an Asian or Asian Pacific, because the Asian Pacific male liver able to just keep it clean. So when in the psychotropic level, they said you're within therapeutic level, that means you're within acceptable toxicity level. Okay, that's why we have to do a liver panel on a lot of these men's. Now, just giving glutathione alone, it will actually able to reduce schizophrenia symptoms more than the risperidol in the most hard treated population. Are you guys following? Yes?
Yes, I'm sharing this correct spelling. Sandra asked she was trying to say she said something else, so I spelled it. Glutathione, you said.
Glutathione.
Oh, I even spelled it wrong. Sorry. Sorry, Sandra.
Glutathione. So the key is do not take glutathione supplements. Your body needs to make it. That's the key.
Glutathione. Gotcha.
Okay. And another thing that is actually I'm testing out right now. So this is new. So again, I'm testing it out. I'm putting everyone on lithium.
Interesting.
I'm putting everyone on lithium due to the antiviral, because I tested the resonance. It's actually what helps mental illness is not actually that. It is actually it's antiparasitic.
Lithium
Lithium.
is?
Yes.
What?
Yes. But
Oh.
but when I was giving, because I used to teach people how to administer medication, in all different ways. I was an expert at giving shots. But the form of lithium, it is actually the wrong one. That's why it damages the kidney. Now, I'm not saying I'm saying this. I'm sharing you because I'm always evolving and trying new things. Okay, so the lithium orotate, it works good, and lithium ionic. So I use all ionic form, and but I have not able to test the ionic form first. But lithium is literally just like minerals. So it's not medication. It is. But they use the cheap wrong form. So I will keep you up to date. The last thing that is really cheap, that is actually very, very powerful, it is methylene blue. Okay, and I have a very specific. It took me 6 months to test to make sure. But
can you tell me how to spell that? I'll just put it in the chat.
Methylene blue, METHYLENE, blue. And I will give you the dose. I'll give you the whole, and so these are the things that you could do, but don't do it every day because it depletes your glutathione. So glutathione is your master antioxidant. So every time you're detoxing, anything with cognition, anything to do with that, even the cause of autism is lack of glutathione. So when let's say a baby got a vaccine, and the glutathione level is low because of the toxins, and then when they spike a fever because the immune response to the vaccine, the mom that is not conscious gave a Tylenol. Guess what the Tylenol does to the liver? Depletes glutathione. Yeah. So inside the body's glutathione detoxing the stuff, it goes to the brain.
Wow.
Gotcha.
So that's how important glutathione is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would recommend, so that's a good recommendation for someone that's trying to detox off of opiates. Yeah.
Absolutely. But start with just water salt gratitude, and then sun gazing is free. I teach people how to sun gaze.
Okay.
And you could
I'm in trouble with that one now. Do you know what I just got told? I have macular degenerative eye disease.
What?
Well,
you could going blind.
You can reverse it. Here.
I know. I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to reverse it. I paused it, but I'm super sensitive now to the sun. I used to just do this, and now it's like I can feel it. So what's that?
MSM eye drops. My friend makes this.
So just
MSM eye drops.
Okay.
So from Sunstar Organics. So this is super cheap. I bring this everywhere because it helps your body to make glutathione when you have this.
Okay.
Because it's sulfur. Anything with sulfur based,
Okay.
So
I miss sun gazing. Yeah. Yeah, you got all those things. I want to also direct people to one of our human experience hangout. We had 2 we did together, and one you were doing the blessings on screen. We were transmuting right there. The second one was the light versus dark, but the one with transmuting, I'll share that link below after this airs, because you did healing after healing after healing on there, and people can see what you're talking about with the water salt gratitude on there. So I think that's pretty incredible. Thank you for sharing all those, and the glutathione. You gifted me those patches. So that was pretty.
It's not the only way to do it. I would stay away of taking glutathione supplement because your body will get lazy to make it. Your body is designed to fight. So I'm against taking melatonin because then the body is lazy to make melatonin. And then real quick, the number one way to detox your pineal after taking years of Zoloft and all. Guess what is the most the basic compound of all antidepressants? You know what it's made of? Fluoride. It's fluorine.
Yeah, I don't.
If you look at the generic name, will be like fluoxetine, FLU, like fluoride. So people feel not depressed. It's because they don't have a connection to their soul because it's all calcified.
Calcified.
Yeah. Yeah.
So glutathione decalcifies all that.
Mm.
Can I say,
know.
sorry,
Yeah.
can
Right.
I say, it's been 2 months since I haven't taken Suboxone, and the energy that I feel, like I can feel just energy just flowing like I've never felt before, like especially through my hands. And it shocks me sometimes. One time watching the sun, and you think you're going nuts and I'm seeing the electromagnetic field of the sun,
Mhm.
and I'm just connecting with the sun, and I'm seeing it pulsate, and my hands are pulsating with the rhythm and the beat of the sun. And I've never experienced that before. But what I was told is that someone had mentioned that Suboxone really suppresses the chakras, and that when you first come off of it, that the energy will be flowing. It's like crazy amount of energy because it's just been suppressed for so long. I mean, I was on it for over a decade. So I was on it for over a decade. So this energy has been like, I was feeling compelled to do Qigong. I don't even know. I never even knew what Qigong was, but I was
Nice.
to do it.
Nice. And of course, I thought of it right when you said that word. You're compelled to do Qigong, do it. Matthew got me onto that, and I do it with my class every morning. I do some Matthew's.
That's where that's
Hi,
what
Matthew,
was.
you're still here. Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
is it? So it was Matthew who had messaged and had kind of said that that's why that was occurring. Oh no, it's really interesting to hear stories from other people.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's what's going on there.
Yeah. If you're getting called to do that, check out what Med Rabbit says. Yes, we have the distilled water because the drugs and things are in everywhere. It's in the soil now too, and in the animals, and it's all over the place. So we have to constantly be making sure, like you said, Master Jeff, our body should be producing everything we need. So we get our body in tip-top shape. It's going to do what it's got to do. So absolutely.
I'm gonna do real quick of other biohacks. A lot of people having problem with sleeping, right? You could take taurine, or it's just complete amino acids. So if you could message me, I'm extremely busy, but I will make time eventually. I will get to you. If you just take enough amino acids, again, my friend makes this. This is the only company, because my friend actually makes this. So either I make my own stuff or I promote other. So this is 21 pure amino acid form.
Is that the sun?
From Sunstar. But check this out. If you, let's say, don't have this, just eat eggs, and you eat 3-4 eggs at night, eventually within a few days, your whole body will start resetting because of the amino acids. So our body to heal has to make peptide. In order for us to make peptide, you need amino acids, and it has to be animal based.
Gotcha.
Because of the fat from the animal. We needed that fat from the animal. So here's the thing, real quick, because I know we just want to talk about addiction, right?
This is all I have to do with it.
But the thing is this: I've reversed so many mental illness just by doing a lot of brain healing, mineralization. That's properly. It has to be customized, and vitamin B, and those alone. Now.
Did you say B?
B, vitamin B and B12, but it has to be very specific, and the dose is very important, and proper D3. And I am against taking D3, high dose D3, because high dose D3 causes breast cancer.
Oh.
So D3 will literally, those basic things: minerals, good water, gratitude, my transmissions, vitamin B's, D3, and the last, if you want to look into, is taurine, Taurine. Okay, if you take that in the morning, it's one thing, but if you take it during at night, it really will balance out your whole endocrine system. And I'm gonna put all young men on taurine, like maximized dose.
We're not talking about taurine from like Red Bull and stuff, are we?
Yes.
What? I thought that gives you like.
Nope, because that's high dose.
Yell at everybody for that.
No, that's high dose.
Okay.
Taurine is so powerful. If you properly dose them as a young man, your testosterone will never drop after 40.
It's the bull nubbit juice, isn't it?
No,
No,
lots
no,
of
no.
people who want to know that.
No, it's a, but then if you already past 30, it doesn't work. You have to do it in between 20 and 30 years old. See,
Okay.
this is I'm a biohacker, and then I'm beyond
Yeah, yeah.
biohacking. So, but the taurine needs to be in the proper dose. Everything I do is microdosing.
Oh,
You know, everything is super microdosing. Everything is super microdosing. I mean, I heal with traumatic brain injuries, but what is the brain after years of psychotropic is brain injured. That's the same as TBI, traumatic brain injuries.
Gotcha.
So I treat everything. It's like healing an injury. That's why the stem cell is in there. The amino acids is in there. That's why when people are like, how comprehensive is your protocol? It's quite comprehensive. All. You know.
You said another hit word. You said microdosing, which made me think of, some I think feel like they have to get to that next level of awakening by having some sort of trip, like the ayahuasca. That I agree, Michelle. I don't think I want to get to the point of being able to do that. Like I have been able to without being on anything to feel that illuminated. But what is that? Is microdosing homegrown shrooms, or is that a good option for that healing?
When I'm saying microdosing is a general term of microdosing, it's not microdosing pertaining to hallucinogenics. So when I'm saying microdosing is this, let's say, like if you're talking taurine, in talking taurine, if you look at the literature that said take 2 grams, which is 2,000 milligrams. If you take D3, take 10,000 milligrams. You're supposed to only 10 micromilligrams per multiplication. So imagine 10 micrograms compared to 20,000 milligrams. That's what I'm saying about microdosing. But it does mean I have a few of my own oil infused psilocybin, but microdosing in my healing, you don't even feel any kind of change in the altered state.
Gotcha.
I use it to conduct light.
Gotcha.
So with more light, you actually heal mitochondria, and your brain will actually fire. So
synapses.
So put it this way: I have a psilocybin infused oil. I could put it in your meridian points, and we would do breath work. You will feel it without even ingesting. You could put it on the meridian points.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know there's. I see Mud Rabbit says his brother had a traumatic brain injury, level 5. I didn't even know there's levels of types of brain injuries. Do you think as that reversal? I feel like everything could
anything is reversal. I mean, I reversed countless cases of stroke.
So I'm glad that we got to this. So my mother is a paraplegic. The first things that these doctors told her was that she's a T4. Her spinal cord is severed, which means you will never, ever walk again. I mean, immediate, like that's the first thing. So then, 10 years down the road, I come across Joe Dispenza, pretty much, I mean, not a severed spinal cord, right? But he had a pretty radical event happen to him. Same thing. Doctors told him that he wasn't going to walk again. And sure as shit, that's what he did. And now look what he's doing today. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. There's no limit to what we could do. I mean, I've done thousands of miracles and assisted a lot of thousands of miracles. I mean, my first massive miracles were reversing cirrhosis of the liver, and that's just using increasing glutathione. And this is remotely. This is like 11, 12 years ago, and this is chemical induced cirrhosis. The guy was dying. He couldn't even wait long enough to get a liver transplant.
Interesting.
So there's a lot that we could do, and this is why I have many different tools, and I combine many different tools. And let's say when people talking about, well, the only thing they know, let's say, to create neurogenesis is microdosing and this and that, but I'm like, yes and no, because if you don't actually have proper vitamin D and minerals, nothing works. Probiotic, prebiotic doesn't work with proper mineralization.
But at some point, do you think the person, let's just say we'll give example of, the person on the other end that needs that, okay, my mom, let's just say, for example, if the person doesn't believe that this is possible and thinks it's woo-woo, then that definitely isn't going to happen or occur for them. Yes or no?
Well, it's just like this. Everything is about allowing process. And I'm a master in teaching the allowing process. So this water salt gratitude is the basic allowing process. So it is the person. So that healing is very dynamic. There's not anything linear about it. Let's say I've healed, hundreds cases of diabetes. Does that mean I could guarantee each diabetes I'm going to heal? No.
Okay.
Because let's say one could be a vaccine-injured diabetes, and then the damage of the system is different. And I had a diabetes talk. It's a sexual energies disease. It's a lot of them. It has not really a lot to do with pancreas. It's actually a lot to do with your hormonal system. Let's say especially for people that had quote unquote similar background like we did with the party, this and that, your vagus nerve is fucked. Your endocrine system
I know.
is fucked. So
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? And then let's say, so all of a sudden, if let's say a person with similar background like us having an insulin resistant, it's a totally different protocol with someone having insulin resistant and eating Doritos.
Yes.
So again,
Yeah.
don't address the symptom,
Yes.
address the system. So what makes the system compromised? That's more. So going back to what you were saying, Chasity, my dear, there's no limit, because what create the biochemical in the body, it is energy, it is light. Just like Bruce Lipton said, right? Your psychology is your biology. That's why gratitude is important.
Yes.
Because it's your innate healing mechanism. That's to get more God's particle within us. God is within you. We just need to feed it. I mean, how many times did we did the stupid drugs, party, and meaningless sex, whatever it is, right? But how much are we dedicated to cultivate gratitude and blessings? Like my healing testimonial album, the testimonial album has so many healing vortex in those testimonial album alone, because you're claiming your blessings. Every time you claim your blessing, it's a healing vortex. And that's how I fight the dark side. So every time you claim your blessings, that's because it's a transmuted pain. Once you transmuted all the perception of pain and suffering, you are the walking medicine, because you're basically you already made the antivenom.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah. Antivenom. I love that there. I want to share or kind of do a circle back of how we started, because I was saying that there's an umbrella of addiction from, foods, the vices, the drugs, the needles, the pills, the people, the toxic relation, where there's these addictions and this chemical reaction that happens in the body. I think we start narrowing it down, like you're saying, it gets to the root. What did you say? The root of the root? The core
the core of
the root. And because so all those things, from the pills to the bricks of cocaine to the this to the sugar rush to the pint of Ben and Jerry's in the middle of the night to share a little bit of myself, it's kind of that one bum rush, chemical rush you're going for. And if you get to that core of the root, it's kind of, there's your universal healing modalities.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I still, to this day, with the sweets in the middle of the night, I mean,
chemical, right?
I have to just keep it out of my house, because it doesn't matter if, like, my ex-husband used to make fun of me all the time. He's like, I wake up with, you have candy wrappers all up and down the damn bed. It doesn't matter if I'm like stoned or on bars or whatever it is that makes you have the munchies. I get up in the middle of the night and want something sweet, and I'm not really sure what that's about.
Are you drinking?
I could tell you what it is. I could tell you what's the problem.
That'd be great. Yeah. You can just tell me what.
Number one is parasites. Number one is parasites.
I was thinking.
So parasites, the one that tell you to eat it because it's food for them. Okay. Number two is lack of chromium.
Another mineral there. I was thinking too, on my heaviest drinking days, which is when I was studying all the dark agendas, I was taking it back to numb out because I wasn't doing the other vices anymore. But I would wake up in the middle of the night because my sugar was dipping, kind of thing. Was that from the alcohol, right? But chromium would have helped that one. Damn.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So many.
Yeah, you
sleepless
could put your hands up. I'll transmit a chromium so you could feel it.
Mm.
Ready?
Surely.
All right. I just need gratitude. All right, ready? Sending love. Here you go.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It was easy for me to get in gratitude because I'm in this. I just am so grateful.
Yeah. But grateful to be alive, grateful for everything, grateful even for all the perception of pain.
Yes.
And may I share one mental and emotional energetic teaching that this is very important that I apply to myself.
Okay.
The key is not to get not triggered. Triggers are fine. It's just the way you process and respond. So the way you process and respond equal the outcome. So before we process a situation, we need to bring forth our new and transformed self, because all of our old shit's still around. It's just, it's just up to you which one you're going to feed. That's the key to not relapse.
There you go.
Okay.
Damn.
Now.
Yeah.
So then you bring forth your new and transformed self, and then you maintain the processing process with the new self, not with the old patterns. Because a lot of times it's a slippery slope. Oh, I got this. So don't believe your mind. Believe in the work. Believe in cultivating. Believe in applying. Spirituality without application is bullshit. So continue applying. Maintaining is cool, because if miracles are cool, but it's a lot cooler if you're able to maintain.
Yes.
So here's the thing. How do we actually let go of our attachment? And that's the thing. Addiction, it is the attachment to the shit. I'm helpless to let go of the shit. No, well, because you're holding to the shit.
It's your identity.
Yeah. I'm like, let me take the teddy bear. No.
Yeah.
You're holding it. Okay. But check this out. But it's an energetic cord. It is a cord. So there is the shit, and there is your attachment to the shit. So addiction is your attachment to the shit. And the need to have the attachment.
Yes.
Because we get very lonely and depressed because we didn't know what the fuck is the new me.
You get scared of it. Fear, yeah. Sobriety is a scary feeling.
It's like, oh, I'm feeling all this new shit.
Feeling
yes.
too much.
I was telling Heidi earlier, I said, the energy after that experience with my son, big energy today. It was overwhelming. I kept earplugs in my ears to kind of try to keep me grounded. It was big energy. It was having to take deep breaths. And I already forgot what I was going to say, but it was important. Obviously not.
It is. I'll teach you. I'll teach you how to integrate. I teach you how to integrate. No, I teach you how to integrate and cleanse and ground and cleanse and ground. So here's the key. In order for us to let go, we have to feel. So we have to feel all the feels. We have to feel it. And most people don't want to feel.
That's where I was going with that. Thank you for helping me get back on track. That's where I was going with that. What I was feeling did not.
So, but then I get addicted of feeling like shit.
Yeah.
I get, I was a blues player. I was a guitar player. I was a booker at BB King's, and I was like, blues was my thing because, I'm like having orgies with my depression, but that's not cool either. So now I could enjoy the blues, but it doesn't it's a mindful thing. You don't feed and attach or reattach to the old stuff. So you need to feel everything, all the not so great, right? And you need to not feed it, to feel, not to feed, but to let go and let God.
Right. It's interesting because I can feel old thoughts or habits come
And
up.
that's
I'm so sorry about with the jacket on and the jacket off. I apologize.
Stop apologizing.
I'm withdrawing and it's not comfortable.
Stop.
It's okay.
I'm
It's
still
okay.
wet. I still got all the towels. Not that kind of wet.
I'm like chugging my water. I'm like about to freaking take off all my clothes. I'm sorry.
Bless your
It's
heart.
okay.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
worry.
so
I
again,
didn't want to be rude. I need you to understand what's going on here. I'm not a
oh,
spouse.
I know.
All
No,
good.
you're good. So again, a lot of people don't like, because when I was going through my sexual traumas, this and that, we especially when you're consciously trying to block, right?
Yeah.
And when you feel that, it feels really effed up, hopeless, especially when you're being violated, right, or whatever. But it's just you need to feel it in order for you to let go. And then there is this this addiction of having basically, if you're adapted too long, you're addicted.
If you're adapted.
If you're adapted to a thing,
Yeah.
if it's too long,
yes.
Yeah.
you're addicted.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why addiction to comfort is very non-conducive, very damaging.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep giggling. I love Sandra's little bits here.
Yeah.
She had orgies listening to Out of Africa soundtrack.
There you go. There you go. So she gets it. You get it. She gets it. She gets it. So, but what I'm saying is,
Mine was Enigma. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, we
I
have to
love
feel it.
Enigma.
Me too. Me
Yes.
too. But we.
Take it off.
Yes.
Yep.
I was addicted to that. Addicted to
I'm like
Wonderland.
tears
Yeah.
of happiness.
That's good. That's
But
good.
yeah, you gotta feel to let go. But we cannot fake the funk, though. We gotta actually work off to let go and work. Why do I need these attachments? So that's a different layer.
Uh-huh.
You don't need to have that. Once you let go of all this attachment, then you felt really bare, and then you look on the floor, all you see is just your old shells. And that's freedom. That is freedom.
I'm ready for that self to be all the way down on that floor.
You burned. Remember our talk text today?
Yeah.
I mean, those were some layers. When I wrote out my little timeline bitty thing, I was like, damn. Like, but it were some healing tears that came out. I was messaging both of you, but it felt good. It wasn't like my old unlocked sadness. It was like, I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. I'm reading a book. But that was me. And I'm like, oh my God, I did that.
So
Look at
Heidi,
me.
let me ask you, how healing is this talk to you, dear?
Pardon? How
healing is this talk, our talk, right now to you?
So much so. The laughter's the best bit. But oh my goodness, Jeff, I've been struggling. I've been addicted to being needed to be heard. I've been addicted to triggers, and I've been addicted to like finding my and then just being able to share and show the rawness.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I feel a little like
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
So I mean, I don't mean to throw that word around loosely either. And if anyone's just catching up now, we've had a lot of dark stories in the beginning there, but there is that feeling, that human nature feeling of like you have to understand what you're going after and why. You know, what is that bit? So I welcome the cry. I welcome seeing my timeline. I welcome being triggered because I'm like, oh God, it got me again. What is this? What is this?
Yes.
You know, I welcome getting kicked in the gut, figuratively and not, because I'm like, how are you going to handle it? I welcome my daughter spilling the whole water as the intro's playing. So I can be like, how am I going to handle myself? You know, it's all part of a daily choice of healing. And I tell you, I'm 6 weeks now, I think, of not even puffing Mary Jane. And I think I even hid that from you last time, Jeff. I'm like, I'm doing good. I'm barely doing it. It was like, Not that, I'm already justifying and making excuses for it, but I'm
Yes,
sorry.
thank
It was
you.
my addictive vice. It was a vice. I
Yes.
couldn't, I thought of it on the way home, was ready to do it. And now I'm able to process without it. And that's all I wanted to know, that I could do that. And
That's
I
beautiful.
shared with Giant, because he used to resupply me. He's like, you need this. You're fucking batshit today. And I'm like, no, you know what? Let me be batshit. Let me figure this out. And he did. He's like, okay, figure it out. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking. This has been wonderfully healing.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. I think it's
And-
healing as well.
Yes. And our friends in the chat, Jim, you've been here the whole time. Bless your heart. I always get amazed when I see someone at the beginning of the chat and then later. You never know. You never know if people pop around and do
Yeah.
what they got to do.
We're
I'm sure they
busy.
pop in and
We
out,
got stuff going on.
but they're chiming in. And Joe Fox, I'm happy to hear that. And I'm happy you caught the live. I know that sometimes you can't catch it and you were leaving work late, so you were worried about that. So
Joe.
I'm glad you were here. Does anyone in the chat have any questions for Chasity or Master Jeff? I know we've covered a lot of ground here. And I thank you so much, Garrel. Garrel's been sharing your links, you guys, because I forgot that. And thank you for that, Garrel. Bless your heart. Oh, thank you. You did a congratulations. Thank you so much. I love these little circle chats, because tell me this, did you guys didn't know each other before this, did you?
No.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
and when I'll get these hits and I'm like, I really want to have this convo, and I think of this and this from my little Rolodex, that might be some more beautifulness coming through, wanting to link you guys up.
Yep,
So,
definitely. For sure.
yeah.
I have some things I could definitely talk to you about for sure.
Yeah, you guys, and Joe, scroll up just a bit. Garrel, oh, you might be on Facebook. It's in the maybe I'll get, yes, he's on Facebook. He's on, but you still have your healing page. That's what Garrel put in. He put your website in there. So that's scrolled up above. I don't know if you can see that.
My
one.
website is not all that done. So I'll
Okay.
so it's easier for people to see my testimonial album, and I need to back it up too, because Facebook has been really weird in the past week.
Yes, it
Okay.
has.
It has. Oh, here's
Yes,
a
it
question for
has.
you, Master Jeff. I was going to say parasolic cleanse. I say that for everything. What would Jeff suggest for fibromyalgia?
Fibromyalgia, more than 50%, it is from unresolved trauma.
Mm.
So if it's not very severe, crazy fibromyalgia, a lot of times it's even whether the person remember or not, there's some traumatic events, and sometimes it is transferred. It could even be transferred through sex, or majority is from mother-daughter.
Really?
Wow.
Ooh,
Wow.
didn't know that.
Especially if the mom wasn't processing, transferred to. So let's say I heal many, dying children or even pets, was displaying the symptoms out of, let's say for a pet, their owner, a baby will actually displaying the symptom out of the mom or the parents. So this is why that's why I created that hashtag, don't address the symptoms, because like a higher vibrational being might have the symptoms out of things that's not even them.
Gotcha.
Let's say I was dealing with a 3 months or 6 month-old baby having eczema, and then no vaccination, everything raw, blah, 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 blah. And then it took me a minute. And then when I was doing assessment, and I asked her, what is your emotional content while you were breastfeeding?
Oh.
My husband is dying of cancer.
Oh.
What do you think? Well, your baby having your stress cortisol transferred to your breast milk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the eczema was a stress response. That's the mom transferred to the baby.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. There's another question here from my buddy, Mr. Jim. He says, I can't sleep. Lay in bed for hours, eyes closed, but fully awake, even when exhausted.
Endocrine system. So it's very easy. Number one, the room has to be cold and dark. Okay.
Like pitch black?
Pitch black. Has to be pitch black. And then blue light blocker is a must.
Okay.
Because the blue light, the one that makes your body, your endocrine system thinking that it's daytime. So I would 2 hours before trying to go to bed, no screen time, nothing. If you do, And then, and what's important is that the mineralization, you know, the taurine will help. Take taurine at night. As far as dosing, I'll give you the dose, but I don't remember offhand right now because I deal with so many things. Now, the most important thing after that is actually sun gazing, because when you sun gaze in the morning, you reset your whole endocrine system. So even as tired as you are, brother, get up in the morning. But when I say sun gazing, it's not during the day, okay? It's only 1 hour of the sunrise and 1 hour within that sunset. And it's just, it's not staring.
It's just putting your face to it, right?
Yeah. So
With
I
your
have
eyes.
certain certain technique, and one of these days maybe we could do like a group, and I just certain technique. There's a technique that you could draw light with your eyes, because it's important. When I measure people with resonance, I need to see their eyes, because the eyes are, you know, to collect the light, but the real light collector is your pineal gland. That's why when you detox the pineal gland, when you detox the psychotropic, the person will feel more and more energetic stuff, because the collector of the light is your pineal gland. You don't see from the pineal gland, okay? The pineal gland is the collector. You see and discern with your heart. In my Indonesian native language, we call that mata hati. Your eye, your true eye, is in your heart.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the kids that. I like that. Thank you. Here's Sandra.
Mata. Yeah.
Mata. Sandra wants to, what you suggest for neuropathy, not diabetic associated. Did I say that right?
Good question.
That's, again, I know it sounds so basic, mineralization and vitamin Bs, and especially B9 and B12.
Wow.
And I have a very specific bentothymine, which is the form of vitamin B that I like to dose people with neuropathy. And if you could tolerate raw cacao will actually, but I only recommend the cacao from my friend, the one that I actually get from Sunstar, and that will, you know, help for you guys to have copper peptide, and of course, increasing activated stem cells. So I have different ways to do so, but the most basic is that.
Okay. And Mr. Joe Fox, you got to accept his friend request, Master Jeff.
Joe.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, just,
He's a sweet pea.
Yeah.
I love Joe.
So, what are your thoughts on the new grounding sheets? Either of you? Those, you know, those plug-in thing. I had a moment with that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want it, but they say it's not plugged into the socket, so that's a good thing.
Have you tried them? Have you tried the sheets? No.
Have you,
I have
Joe?
a friend.
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't recall if he said it. I think his mom said that it made a little bit of a difference for her. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend loved. I have a friend out here that tried them and loved them. Karen, our buddy Karen. But what do you? Have you? Either of you? You?
Yeah.
Of you used them?
Well, I'm trying to simplify it without talking another 2 days about this, because this is what I do. Well, there is grounding in terms of bioelectrical stuff, okay? And there is grounding that is the higher vibration that you don't need a device to do so. Okay, as long that we have enough minerals in the body, and then we could direct our energy with our breath.
Gotcha.
Okay, but will it help? Yes. But you know what will actually help? You could literally create an energy grid on your bed. You know what worked really great? Shungite. Shungite and silver. You know?
Yeah.
Shungite and silver is very affordable. You know, and also, who had issues sleeping, you need to turn off any EMF stuff, because it interrupts with your own production of melatonin.
Did you get that, Jim? Get your router off and get on the airplane mode. You probably do that.
Yeah.
I wonder if he does that.
But then
But I do know he's online late because I see him.
Yeah, but if still,
Computer
but sleep is important. But then there are so many different things, because, you know, the cortisol is number one thing. If you have too much, too much cortisol, and you could literally just reduce the cortisol level during the day, and you would actually start falling asleep.
Yeah. And watch that screen. I get guilty of that big time. I yelled at all the kids. I got pyramids by modems and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then at night, I'm like,
I
Well,
make,
the
Hypocrite.
blue light blocker actually worked. Blue light blocker.
I gave them to the
helps.
kids. Like I gave myself. I gave them fairway blankets. Well, no, Santa did.
Mm.
Fairway blankers, and and then I myself am like, la la la, I can't stop. I text Martin working late last night on set. I'm like, I can't sleep. Why are you texting me? Get off your phone. um, the copper. Yes, I was thinking of you, Garo, with that. Thank you. He's going to do the copper wire grounding for sleeping. Sticking the copper wire outside and running it into the bed.
Oh
The
yeah,
bedroom.
yeah.
been
I mean,
hearing
yeah.
a lot about copper lately.
Yes.
A lot
But
about copper.
the most important copper is within you. That's what the raw cacao is.
Oh, see, back
Copper
to our
peptide.
body.
Go back to that. So I have a crystal patch that I use for stem cell. It's about copper peptide. So you could use that, or you could just make sure that you have copper, or you could just straight take copper ionic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have all my stuff in front of me. This is because I do this all day, every day.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to address, Jim says the best he slept when he was living in, what did that say? What, somewhere?
Waikiki.
Yeah,
Waikiki.
there.
Mhm.
So,
Well, yeah, that's a total, yeah, that's another thing. If you actually in the different ley line, that's a whole different thing to deal with. You got to literally like do an acupuncture of the earth. Me and my friend does that with copper rods, and that's not easy to do, but it doesn't mean it's always that. You know what I'm saying?
right. So I've heard of, I haven't experienced this yet, but I will. But there are certain areas where there's not Wi-Fi and there's not none of these shenanigans that goes on here, and that people have out of body experiences. They feel these energies that we don't. I mean, I don't know. We're transcending anyway. I mean, they can keep trying to suppress us. It doesn't. We're coming through anyway. Don't matter. Our light's bringing it all up. But I'm just saying, like other parts of the world, like Africa and things like this, where it's a lot lighter. You're more likely to have these experiences.
Mhm.
Just from what
yeah,
Jim was
yeah.
saying, because I have an interesting time trying to sleep from time to time as well. My son, big time. My son's very, very sensitive to the shenanigans.
Sleep
Yeah,
is huge. Sleep is
Sleep
everything.
is
Mhm.
yeah. Your brain detox 10 times. So that's why, like, when you're sleeping, your brain detox 10 times when you're
Wow.
awake. So when you're doing my protocols, a lot of time you will wake up with crusty eyes because it's dumping everything.
It's coming on out. This is a
Yeah.
good circle back to the beginning of us sharing all our journeys, our struggles, our obstacles, our addictions, all that stuff. Because I feel I'm honored. I'm honored to have been able to go through all that in this lifetime, to be
Great.
prepared for what has begun. Because by the end of, before 2020, I'm in this place of prepared readiness for all of the craziness that's been happening.
Right.
Level-headed, didn't run to any vices. I'm able to walk the kids through it, keep, watch for signs so they don't fall down those roads.
Right.
And I think we went through all the shit we went through. So we are able to share these heroic stories of,
Yes.
look at where we came full circle now.
Yes. That's exactly what.
One thing real quick. I did a video with you and your old partner, Heidi, and then we did an alignment. If we could get that, that clip alone, it was very helpful, because that alignment technique, it took me about 30 years to simplify it. And that's what I created, that technique, because I was trained dealing with all that crazy population that I used to do. And that is the true alignment technique. When I do that with people, you do not assume what is, you check in, and that's how you get into the true alignment.
I will find that clip and do that. I mean, and share that for sure. Here's someone's bringing up the pet. These aren't are you doing that? They're all different numbers, right? But those glutathione, you gave me some patches before, but
I've heard of this patch for LifeWave is like a fair day.
Yeah, I use LifeWave as a spiritual tool. So that's a big thing in my spiritual awakening process. I don't use LifeWave as just like how other people use it, so I customize it, and most people just push the business side. I use it as a So I use it as an energy grid.
Right.
Imagine if you're an orgonite. So what kind of orgonite you want to be today? So that's how I use it, because they're crystals.
Mhm.
So I saw the comment like the X49 is like a Faraday cage. Yes and no. I don't necessarily like the terminology of Faraday cage, because you do not want to block signals. You want to attenuate them. You need to have your strong energy so you could actually change the energy and transmute them.
Right.
Just like your phone. Like your phone have EMF. You don't want to block the EMF. Your phone's not going to be working. You know.
Once in a while, I like it not to work.
Heidi,
Well,
Like
what
it
I'm
don't
saying-
exist right now.
But what I'm saying is, let's say if you put, let's say I have my own stickers. It's a mix of shungat and silver. So the shungat will spin like 200 times clockwise. So our energy spin clockwise. Anything EMF, parasitic, demonic, they spin counterclockwise.
Oh, wow.
But if your energy is spinning more faster and more powerful than their energies, you change the energies. So you're not blocking them. You know, you're changing as they enter your field.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but when you have copper and you have this and that, your body able to conduct certain energies. So minerals basically is the gasoline to a car. Minerals is our gasoline.
Right.
That's what they call it, electrolytes. So how do we conduct more light and sustaining? Is through electrolytes.
And hi, Sovereign Cosmic Wild Man. I'm going to sing you in a minute. Grass-fed whey protein induces natural production of glutathione. What do you think of that? I know with the eggs as well, but the whey protein does do that.
That it cannot even compare with eggs. Grass-fed doesn't.
Eggs is the
I mean,
number
I
one,
love
right?
grass-fed. Don't get me wrong. You want to see my grass-fed? Here's my grass-fed. Look, it's right next to me. Okay, but it's not bioavailable like eggs. I mean,
Eggs,
I save thousands of
I miss
people's
my
lives just by just eating 3 eggs while they could not recover, let's say, from COVID, from infections. Now, if you're going to talk about whey, it's on top of that. So yes, but eggs is number one, because it's not about how good of the protein. We are not what we eat. Au contraire, we are what we absorb.
Gotcha. And that's a big one, because you have to make sure your body's doing what it's got to do
I
to
love
absorb
eggs.
all the
Me
things.
too. I eat eggs every day. That's every
miss
day.
my chickens.
Good fat.
No wonder they tried to steer us away from them.
Of course.
Talk about that healing journey, the over decade plus even bulimia. I ended up then in food service, and I was known as a healthy, high vibe craft service. To be able to be surrounded by these things that used to cripple you, that is a testament to healing.
I wanted to agree. I wanted
Mhm.
to circle back to that, because how ironic. I mean, that's so ironic. You struggled with that, and then you're working in the food industry, kind of similar situation here. What I'm fighting with prescription pills, yet having to be the one that handles the medication for my mom. It's just very ironic, right? It's
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And
you had mentioned that. Sorry.
No, please.
You had mentioned earlier about bringing all of this to light, and I just want to say, I'm feeling pushed in such a big way to talk about the darkness, but to bring it to the light, because when I first started talking about it, like before I even stopped the Suboxone, how many people reached out to me that they were battling the same thing, that they wanted to do the same thing, but they just didn't want to speak. I mean, because of the way that society views these struggles, right? So this is what we are doing, is bringing this to the light. We're transmuting this. We're dropping judgment. I don't know. I just felt compelled to share that because there's so many people battling this, and that's what this is all about. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. We've been at war since the day we came out of our womb. We just have to learn how to love ourselves and forgive ourselves and forgive our neighbor. And if a person's a narcissistic individual, love them from a distance. Just healing, loving, not judging, knowing that we've all been through so much, from the vaccines to the chemtrails. I mean, we're powerful. I mean, we're so adaptable. I mean, they're constantly trying to get us. But there's nothing they can do. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. That's just it. You can't stop. You can't stop us. So, anyways, I don't
Totally.
know where that came
Totally.
from.
That was beautiful. That came out. I love that. That had to
Damn it.
be.
I get so
Yeah,
triggered
I
when we start whenever, and that's, I will admit, you know, I think the pharmaceuticals, anything about, you know, big pharma, Rockefeller, these elites, I get triggered in such a big way because I can just feel how hard they are trying to just suppress through every single angle of every, and I'm so passionate about it, and it triggers me in such a big way. And then I just have to remember, you know, why I'm here. So it's funny because I moved where I moved and I'm driving. I don't go different routes to one place. I take one route and that's the way that I go. Well, GPS took me some weird route, right? I see a big 5G tower and I'm like, that's precisely why I'm here. This is, you know, this is why I'm here to transmute all that. A new upcoming neighborhood. Of course, there's one sitting right there.
Oh no, by your house.
Well, not too close. I mean, it took me a different way, but yeah, I mean,
Make you aware
like
of
on the opposite side of the neighborhood,
Gotcha.
I don't know why it, you know, I went that way. I never have gone that way before. I'm directionally challenged a little bit.
Just to make you aware though, but and you mean you know all the things to do. Just armor up. We got to armor up and navigate.
Right.
Real quick, I just want to go back to I forgot to share a little bit about my my journey in terms of transmuting addiction. And this is why I go back to the Live Wave crystal patches. Look, you see?
Over your shirt too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So when I customize protocol, like I could actually negate 50% of addictive. So your energetic addictive is actually in your brain.
Yeah.
So I could negate that by using these crystal patches at least by 50%. So I help countless of whether it is to sugar, mostly sugar, or even cigarettes, nicotine.
Wow.
So
Okay.
so the drive, the pull, it is from your frontal lobe. So that's this thing, just to explain a little bit for people, because now people know about Live Wave.
You mean the want? Is that what you mean by the pull? I apologize for interrupting. I just want to be clear.
Yeah, the want.
The want. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But sometimes we don't even understand the want. We just like a pull, right? It's like,
I just want.
I need that. I need that. I want that, you know? So, but the reason I'm telling this, because a lot of people now in the truther community aware about Live Wave. I mean, I've been using Live Wave for 12, 13 years. I mean, I saw Heidi and I was doing so many healing at this Dimension Disclosure. How many years ago was that?
19. It was 2019.
Yeah, so nobody knew about Live Wave. I was healing everybody and their mamas. The whole convention I did healing. And then yes, I did use crystal patch from Live Wave, but but I used my spiritual teaching and carbon 60. I mean, even the stage manager that was in pain, I took his pain away in seconds.
Wow.
I
need you over here with my mom. She deals with it every day. It's awful.
Get some offline chats going. I think that would be very helpful. You guys, we hit a 2-hour mark.
Yes.
Carol and Jane, bless your hearts. They're probably like, we're still nodding. Yeah, it's gotta go. Are they done?
Yes, let's wrap it up.
Well, I want to wrap it up with saying, and I'm not just saying this because it's something to say every time, but it deserves more of a conversation. So maybe we can always pick it up and do another one, bring in some more people too, and there's never a time to not talk about healing and overcoming addiction, no matter what that looks like to you. And don't forget, it's the seen and unseen.
Right.
I was like the ultimate actor. Talk about hide your shit.
Right.
And and that's now we walk around and we can see, I see you. I love those little TikToks of someone who sees someone like sit down and fixing their shirts and stuff. We see them now, and now's our chance to help, reach our hand out and assist and help. And just someone being seen and someone being heard, that is such a huge part of healing. So
we're not bearing anymore. We're not bearing anymore.
Yeah.
We're bringing it to the light. It's not being buried.
I do need to say something real quick, please.
Yes.
I know it's been 2 hours, so I'm still offering complimentary instant pain relief and detox for all veterans and all first responders. even nurses, if they're like single mom and they don't have money to buy healing tools, I'll help them out. And because a lot of these veterans are actually vaccine injured that caused the suicides. They're not battled. They're not. The PTSD did not come from combat.
Well,
Yeah. No, the PTSD is
That's a
brain
heavy combo.
damage, traumatic brain damage from vaccine.
Wow.
Okay.
Wait,
and they
wait,
get
wait, I'm sorry.
overloaded.
Did you
They
say
get
from
overloaded.
vaccine? I apologize. Wow, that is so synchronistic. Thank you for saying that.
So,
wow. Okay.
So I do this all day, every day.
Right.
Yes, I still charge for healing and assessment, but my main purpose is a lot of charity healing. We did a lot of charity healing for Lahaina, but I do charity healing every day. So that's the thing. So I have tools and teachings, and basically I create my own tools and I create my own teachings on the go. So eventually I'm going to have a whole soldiers of healers.
Yay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's usually first on the street when trauma happens out here in California. He's
Oh,
like out in his car. He's like, okay, I'm out in front of the shooting or something, and he's doing his healing.
Well,
So thank you, Master
tribe.
Jeff.
I call my tribe Heals on Wheels.
Heels
I
on wheels.
love that.
And we're heels on the airwaves.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
thank
I
you all for
love
riding
that.
that wave.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks for riding that wave with us, everyone in the chat. We are so
You're
grateful
welcome.
you're here. Jim, thank you for everyone sharing your stories with one another. I hope you found some community that perhaps you didn't know before. Please reach out to them. That's why we're doing this. We're building community. We're fully transparent. As that veil thins, we're finding one another. My dog is so happy with this conversation. And yeah, transform your water, transform yourself. What do you want to say, pal?
When she's like, hey, I need you. Come
She's
on.
almost done. I love you much. I
Aw.
really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for hearing me and seeing me. Thank you for your support. Hit like and subscribe. This is selfless dedication right here. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. Let me just, everybody, every single one of you individuals out there that is doing these podcasts, so much kudos to you. So much work. And I didn't even do nothing. Heidi's just walking me through the process of just getting on StreamYard. Kudos, because it takes a lot of work. And I admire that. That's admirable. That's very admirable. And thank you for that.
You know what? I think we're getting called. Oh, Mike, you're here too. Hi, Mike. Oh, see, I'm starting to love. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we got this. We're doing this. And yes, fine. All right. You said it. The people have spoken. Part 2 will come. Okay. And like Cosmic Wildman, remember, smell you later. We'll smell you all later. You have a beautiful one. And I'll talk to you both in just 1 second. Peace. Have a